tomorrow night in Hawkesbury, Ontario. Now, we must say that this is the only tribute show, memorial show, I guess you could say, to your brother who passed away. It's been 2 months now that this happened?
It's been 3 months and 12 days. It was May 20th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So take us through that a bit. Of course, we're talking about Randy Macho Man Savage, a gigantic legend in the world of wrestling. What was it like to get that news?
Well, I was on my way to California, and I stopped in Dallas on American Airlines, and I turned on my cell phone, and there was a message from Largo Medical, and that Randy and Lynn had been in an accident, and Randy was in critical condition. So I called the number they left for me. I was on hold what seemed like forever. And then I got Lynn on the phone, his wife, and she says, "You don't know?" And I said, "I just landed in Dallas. I don't know anything." And she told me the whole story, and I just, oh, man. So I called Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, and I told him about it. I said, "Please tell the promoter I'm going back home now."
Yeah.
And then I waited in line to change my tickets, and they weren't going to let me do it because the flight was sold out. So I begged her. I lost my dignity, and I got emotional. I begged her, and then she talked to her supervisor, and they found a seat for me. And then I called my mom, and I was really not looking forward to calling her. But I didn't want to call her until I had some good news that I was going to be home. And she was just a basket case. It was just horrible. And then a few days later, he died on Friday morning. And then on Monday, we were going to have the viewing and the cremation. And he had left explicit plans of what he wanted and what he didn't want it. So I went to my mom's house and I saw Channel 10's news outside of her door, and I got furious. I mean, an 84-year-old woman on the day of her firstborn son's funeral. So I walked in there and said, "Oh, Lanny, we're so sorry." I said, "Stop it. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. How do you live with yourself? She's 84 years old." They said, "Well, we didn't. She invited us in." I said, "You're taking advantage. Now you get out." And I didn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
But I have a friend, a very, very good friend in radio. He's got one of the biggest drive time radio shows, and not one of the biggest. I called him up. He got furious. He said, "Do you want to be on my show?" I said, "No." So I wrote a letter, and like a letter from me to send him an email, and he read it on the air. What backlash they got, for taking advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to. Where is the decency? And it was one thing to see my brother's body, and he was a large part of all of our lives. But it was another thing to have to witness my mother view the body. That's because I have a very healthy attitude toward living and dying. Especially my own death. I'm ready any time. But my mother does not deserve to have a microphone in her face and people there that are predatory news gatherers. And I was very angry. I didn't touch anybody, but I did something worse. I ruined their reputation.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. You have to commend that for sure. We appreciate you definitely giving us some insight in this, and I guess stories that people don't know. So thanks for speaking on.
He died of ventricular fibrillation, and I didn't know a word about that. But now I'm kind of an expert. Your heart is divided into 4 parts: the atria and the ventricles, left and right, left and right. And fibrillation means to quiver. So basically, he died of low blood pressure. And he said, "Oh, I'm not feeling very good. I think I'm going to pass out." And then he did. Too bad he was driving at the time. But his wife grabbed the wheel. He had gone over the median into oncoming traffic, and she grabbed the wheel and steered it into a tree very safely. But she needed to stop the car because his foot was still on the accelerator. So she saved the life of a motorcyclist, and they almost hit a bus as well.
Wow.
So she was definitely the hero. But he was... he did not die from the vehicle.
No,
he was... he never regained consciousness. As a matter of fact, it's the most beautiful, painless death you can hope for.
Okay. All right. Well, WWE legend Lanny Paffo, the genius, with us today. Hannibal as well, pro wrestler, and more with them coming up in just a bit.